Hey there, my name is Megan and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my January TBR, but before we go ahead and get on into the TBR, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as well as a little bell icon so you can be notified every time I post new bookish content. I post new videos every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, and sometimes other days throughout the week. Also, don't forget to check down in the description box below for links to all of my social medias, my Buddy Read Discord, and my Patreon. So I have 5 books that I would like to get to in the month of January. I usually set a goal for myself for 5 books, and then I physically read, and then I also like to incorporate some sort of audiobook into the mix, whether I am tag teaming between physically reading and audiobooking or just specifically audiobooking. Usually I like to do both. I just supplement the audiobook, at times when I can't be physically reading. And it's been hard for me recently because the only access to audiobooks I have is my library, and like the holds on library books are insane. So this may change depending on, what my library has. But the first book is an art copy, and that is Retro. This is a YA. I think it's a standalone by Jared Schusterman, who is Neil Schusterman's son, and Sofia Lapuente. And I've never read anything by these authors before. This is a book that I got at Y'all Fest, and it's supposed to come out in January 2023. And first off, this synopsis just spoke to me because it just seems really bizarre and different, number one. And number two, like the cover. Like, I can't tell if this is supposed to legitimately be like a retro cover, like this takes place in the 80s or something. I don't think it does, but just the color really pops, and it really doesn't go with what the synopsis says. And the synopsis is super short, and basically it says, what starts off as a lighthearted competition to live without modern technology for a year turns into a fight for survival in this young adult thriller. Like, this book does not look like a thriller to me. It looks super happy and upbeat. So that's what piqued my interest. I'm like, why would they have this cover with this thriller about technology and fighting to survive? So I'm super interested. And I've never read anything by these authors, so maybe there'll be 2 new authors that I really connect with. So hopefully I can get to Retro in January. And next is a series that I really would love to get caught up on and or finish in 2023, and that is The Song of the Shattered Sands by Bradley Belier. I read the first book, so I'd like to get to the second book, and that is With Blood Upon the Sand. And this is a desert fantasy. I do have a full review for this, so I'll link it up in the cards. This was one of my favorite books of 2021. And I don't know why it's taking me so long to continue, but it takes place in a world that is basically controlled by these 12 kings. These 12 kings aren't necessarily the most noble or good people. And we follow a girl named Seda, who is a pit fighter, and she just comes across all this information about the kings and exactly what's going on in their world. And she has to infiltrate kind of like these, I want to say they're almost like warriors or bodyguards of the kings, and she kind of has to infiltrate their ranks in order to get close to the kings and kind of unveil the mystery of her and this world and what's going on. And like I said, I really enjoyed the first one, and I probably do need to read like a summary of what happened just to refresh my memory, but I don't want to go too long between these books because I lose enjoyment when I do that, and I really did like the first book. So definitely plan to get to With Blood Upon the Sand. Next, we have The Heroes by Joe Abercrombie, and this is the second book in like his first Lost spin-off series. And I read Best Served Cold, I think last year. I have a full review for it, so I'll link that up there for you guys. And the good thing about these books is that they can be read, as far as I know, individually. You don't have to read them one after the other. They're not consecutive stories. So like, I feel a little bit better about putting off finishing up this series before I move on to his newest one. As far as I know, in this book, we're following a character named Black Dow, but it really just sounds like your normal Abercrombie story. You have a king that has gotten into his position by killing a lot of people. You have a neighbor who is trying to invade or cause problems for this king, and there is battles and killing and fighting. That's what I got from the synopsis. It's just right on the money with Abercrombie's books. I'm sure it's going to be bloody and violent and gritty. And this book is the one that my library does have on audio, so I will probably listen to a lot of this on audio. And if it's the same narrator for Best Served Cold, then I really enjoy that narrator. He does a good job. I don't know his name. So definitely looking forward to continuing in Abercrombie's world. Next, we have Empire of Silence by Christopher Rocchio. This is a book that we are buddy reading, so if you're interested in joining in this buddy read, I will put the Discord link down below. But this is an adult sci-fi, so we're following a character named Hadrian, and Hadrian doesn't want to follow in the footsteps of his father So he flees his father only to be found on this backwater planet in the galaxy where he doesn't know anyone and needs to make his own way. So he ends up becoming this gladiator. As a gladiator, he has to navigate like the politics of the court of this world, and he ends up getting involved in the politics of this world and as well as a war that this planet is entering into. This book really seems like it has like that really like traditional fantasy plot line kind of thrown into a sci-fi setting. So I am super curious to see how our author kind of converges those two different genres. And also Hadrian just seems like one of those characters that isn't overly likable. He seems like he's probably morally gray, and I'm really hoping so. So like I said, if you're interested in reading along with us, just click on the Discord link below. And the last book I'm going to be reading is the complete poetry works of Percy Shelley. I got a whole collection of poetry books for Christmas from one of my students, and when I do my next book haul, I'll include all of them with you, but this was one of them. And I know Percy Shelley's name, but I can't think of any poem that he has written, and I'm sure I've read some of them, just nothing's coming to mind, which is why I decided to pick this one, because I don't know if I've read him before, I just know who he is. And at the beginning of the book, it does have like a brief biography of the poet, so I thought that was really interesting. But he is an English poet. He's one of the best known poets of the Romantic era, and he was born in the late 1700s and died in 1822. He died when he was 30 years old, so super young. And I feel like for only living so long, like, I mean, he died younger than I am. He wrote like a ton of poetry. So I am super excited to have like his complete works and be able to delve in just into a single author's poetry and just be immersed in their words and their messages. Okay, you guys, that is it for my January TBR. Let me know in the comments some books that you plan on reading in the month of January, and I will see y'all in another video soon. Goodbye.